Hello, welcome back. My name is Derek Thompson, founder and CEO of TNT Creative Group. I'm so excited about this month. We are talking about professional presentations, how to grow your brand and your business with them. Many of us struggle with our professional presentations. I know ours can be much better. So we are happy to have our very distinguished guest, Wendy Gates Corbett, with us. She will be here with us for the entire month of August. So we're so excited. We're going to do a mix and match format this month. We're going to have a combination of conversations as we will this week. And then 2 of our weeks, Wendy is going to actually have the floor all to herself. She will be the first guest to ever have the entire platform all to herself. Yes. Surprise.
I'm honored and a little scared.
So thank you so much for joining us, and I'm so excited about what everyone's going to learn and what we are going to learn as well.
It is my pleasure to be with you. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, my pleasure. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and your business. I know you are the lead visualist for Refresher Training, and please tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. Well, I have been in business for 4 years. I left a corporate career as a training executive to focus on helping people who deliver presentations deliver them more impactfully, and in turn help their audiences have better presentation experiences. So I am on a mission to rid the world of bad presentations and bad presenters, and I'm doing everything I can to make that happen.
Good. Well, how did you get into presentation consulting?
Well, I am really a reluctant business owner. I did not see myself going into business for myself because I liked the safety of having a salary and working in a corporate environment. But I had way too many bad experiences where there were amazing presenters who had great messages and slides and materials that just did not match their caliber. And the straw that broke my camel's back is actually this piece of paper right here.
Oh.
This is what spurred me to leave my corporate job.
Wow.
And start my entire career focusing on helping people do better presentations. What happened was I was at a workshop. It was actually a weekend-long workshop and started Friday night. When I first met the presenter, I was golden. I liked him, I respected him, I was engaged in the content. And then about 45 minutes into the workshop, he divided us up into groups and was gonna do an activity. And he distributed handouts. And this was one of the handouts that he delivered.
Okay.
And this is the actual handout. Now, the coffee stain is mine, but this was the quality of what he distributed. I didn't do those highlights.
It's very wordy.
It's very wordy and it's old. There's dust on this. And when I saw this handout, I started to doubt him. I said, man, he's been using this, is like antique. He's been using this forever. And then I started to question his expertise. I started to wonder if his material is antique, is his expertise up to date, or is that also old? And I started to doubt him. That doubt didn't match what I saw when I watched him facilitate and interact with us as attendees. And that created a real conflict for me because what I saw on stage didn't match what I was seeing. And I had to spend the rest of the weekend convincing myself to pay attention. And I did, because it was a really important workshop for me. I was really invested and really engaged, and I had a lot at stake. But I went to work Monday morning and spent the entire day in a director's meeting with materials that pretty much looked like this, except they were slides. And that's when I realized that being a great presenter is more than just what we do with our mouth, what comes out of our mouth, and what we do with our body language. It's also about the tools that we use to deliver our message. We invest so much time in crafting our message and finding our voice, and then we don't spend the same amount of time crafting and polishing the tools we use to deliver our message. And so I decided to fix that gap.
Well, that is a niche that many people need help with. So
Sadly, I
Yeah.
have a huge market.
yeah, you do, right? You do. Right. And I guess the sadder part may be those that think their presentations are just stellar and aren't quite up
Yeah.
to par.
Yeah.
There's a lot of missed opportunity for those people.
True.
Well, tell us a little more about your signature presentation and why it's so important to have a signature presentation.
Well, I actually created my signature presentation because of what you just said, that many people think their slides are fine. Mine are good. I know how to make things twirl. I know how to animate.
Right.
I'm good. I know how to put in a picture. But what they do with the picture and the text and the color and the twirling stuff doesn't do them justice. So I created my signature presentation to help educate people about what good slides can look like, because most people don't have a context for what great slide design is or why they should bother investing in it. So I actually created my first signature presentation. It's called 7 Language Secrets for Presenting Yourself with Power. And I was invited to do that presentation at a group in the City Club. And I could have done an entire program on slide design, but because so many people that I saw and spoke with thought their slides were fine, I didn't think people would come to learn 7 ideas for making better slides, because most people think they have good slides.
Right.
So I included some body language secrets for presenting more powerfully, some verbal language secrets, and then I snuck in slide language secrets.
Smart.
And so the purpose of my presentation is to share, to educate people about what great language we can use when we present, all 3 of those types of language.
Okay.
As they learn those secrets, those tips, they're also seeing great slides and how impactful my slides are to them, and how visual slides and vivid, vibrant slides help the message seep even deeper. And so I don't have to say, Derek, you need my help. Let me help you with your slide.
Right.
Because you see my slides and go, oh, I want my slides to look like that, without me having to say that.
Yeah, and that's more powerful.
That's my signature presentation, and I do that presentation everywhere. It's purely educational, at least in my brain, it's purely educational.
Right.
And in my process of educating, people are learning the value of having good slides, which leads to business for me.
Well, our audience will have the opportunity to see you in action, actually giving your full signature presentation at our Lunch and Learn September 21st here at the office. You can go to our website and sign up for that right now. And I believe next week you will dive a little deeper into your signature presentation. So, who specifically needs to have a signature presentation?
Well, I think that anyone who is in a position to grow their business or their brand can benefit from having a signature presentation. Okay. I have delivered my signature presentation over the last 3 years, I would say probably 75 times or so. And every time I deliver my signature presentation, I grow my marketing team, because that many people know those secrets and also can speak to the value of having great slides. And as I started doing my signature presentation more places, more business would flow my way, because you would tell your friend, you need to go see Wendy.
Yes.
And that's generated a lot of business for me. And in some of the networking groups that I'm a part of, I would share that experience just in normal conversation. And several people asked if I would help them design their signature presentation. Because for me, one of the biggest benefits for me having a signature presentation is that I see it as training. I'm a trainer by trade, and I'm confident and competent in training. I still struggle with seeing myself as a salesperson.
Right.
So for me, this allows me to use language that I'm confident with to demonstrate my value. And that idea resonates with a lot of people, particularly business owners, even people who are new to sales or new to business development, who are working for someone else. They often still resonate with that idea.
Yeah.
And so I've helped several people design their own signature presentations. Some of them have been business owners. Some have been coaches. Many coaches have a niche that they focus on, and they can use a signature presentation to demonstrate, like I do, demonstrate the value that their services bring. But I also have helped people who work for others.
You know, that's very interesting because, you know, when I look back at my own personal experience, more times than not, when I present, I end up getting business from that. If I go back and think of the various groups that I've presented to, that typically leads to something. So that's interesting. So with that said, you know, out of you know, the people that you have helped to either create a signature presentation or help to kind of polish and improve their signature presentation, you know, how have they been able to take that and utilize that as a lead generation resource?
You just described a great example of that, because once you have a presentation, you can do it anywhere. And think about how many associations, how many groups, how many meetup groups, how many think tanks are around just the Triangle area. And so many of them are looking for speakers to do a 15-minute, a 30-minute, a 45-minute opportunity to educate the audience, right? And most people will say, you don't want it to be a sales pitch. And so what I have seen with the clients that I've worked with is they are able to use their signature presentation to speak at networking events, at meetup groups. Think of all the associations in the area. Just last night, I did my signature presentation for the International Institute of Business Analysts.
Wow.
I am not a business analyst, but through word of mouth and through people who have seen me deliver my presentation, they reached out to this chapter of professional business analysts. They do presentations.
Wow.
Some of them are self-employed and others are working in corporate environments, but they all do presentations and they all want to learn how to do them better. So once you have a signature presentation, you can keep it in your back pocket and do it anywhere.
That's true. And then you can, you know, when you're called upon to speak, you already have it. You don't have to fret and worry about it and go and try to, you know, put something together.
That's right.
So yeah, I like that a lot.
I'd like to tell a story of one of the clients that I worked with last summer. Sylvia Inks is a local small business financial coach, and she was writing a book, and she decided she wanted a signature presentation as part of the marketing plan for her book launch. So once her book was published, she wanted to be able to say, you want to learn more about what's in the book? Yes, buy the book, but you can also come see me speak and deliver my signature talk, 9 secrets that small businesses need for financial success. So I helped her design her signature presentation, and when her book was published last fall, she started speaking. She started out as a guest speaker at one of the small business classes at Wake Tech, and then someone else at Wake Tech said, Sylvia, would you be willing to do a workshop? All on your own, not as a guest speaker. She said, sure, I can do that. That same person who invited her to do her workshop at Wake Tech also connected Sylvia with other opportunities, like speaking at the Cary Chamber, speaking at a sorority business expo, and those were paid events, and she had her talk in her back pocket. And one of the things that happened is the coordinator called her on short notice and said, oh my gosh, Sylvia, somebody canceled. Can you help me out?
See
and
that
Sylvia
happening.
said, sure, I can do that.
Wow.
And so Sylvia got to speak in front of an unintended audience, an unexpected audience, and she did her friend a favor. So that's how it works.
A big win-win. And you touched on something. We'll dive into it in a future week, but you touched on getting paid. And I know that's a topic that many aspiring presenters and speakers definitely want to learn more about. So we'll table that one for a
Okay.
little bit.
All right, we'll come back to that.
All right. Well, thank you. That concludes our session for this week. Please sign up for our Lunch and Learn. It is a free Lunch and Learn here at our office in North Hills in the CapTrust building. It'll be on the 12th floor. September 21st, which is Thursday from 12 to 1, we will have Olive Garden. So you don't want to miss the Olive Garden or Wendy. So both will be great. Next week, Wendy will have the keys all to herself. She's going to run the show and talk to you a little more about how to develop your signature presentation. Until then, Wendy, Derek, we'll see you next week.